This is a Nightline Friday night special.
Here you go, fella.
The people of Berwick, Pennsylvania shouldn't have a lot to cheer about. Their jobs are drying up.
We are the Bulldogs, mighty, mighty Bulldogs! Oh!
Their industry's gone.
Why are you running? You get a good seat. He's running so he gets a good seat.
Hurry up, Dad!
The kids are all moving away. Then why is the town so excited? Tonight, Dog Days in Berwick.
This is ABC News Nightline. Reporting from Berwick, Pennsylvania, Ted Koppel.
Defeat, said Vince Lombardi, is worse than death because you have to live with defeat. Berwick, Pennsylvania knows a little something about the bitterness of defeat. Back in 1944, when the American Car and Foundry Factory was operating at its peak, 10,000 people were employed there. Now the whole town only numbers 11,000. Berwick's unemployment level is half again as high as the rest of the state. Its median income is 2/3 of the Pennsylvania state average. A lot of its young people are moving out, and when you say that, you've almost said it all. Almost. What Berwick still has that no one's been able to take away yet is perhaps the best damn high school football team in the country. Last year, it was ranked the best, and the perhaps this year is only because the season isn't over yet. Having a great high school football team in a place like Cleveland or Dallas or Miami doesn't amount to quite the same thing, isn't nearly as important. Those places have a lot of other things going for them. Berwick is running out of other things. And on Friday nights in particular, there simply isn't anything else. But let's back off for a moment and show you where we are. In northeastern Pennsylvania, south of Sugar Notch and Chickasha, north of Mifflinville and McAdoo, lies a small manufacturing town on the banks of the Susquehanna River. Its biggest export?
2, 3.
High school football. The Berwick Bulldogs, national champs twice, state champs 4 times, 13 times in the playoffs. It's a place where the local boys are local heroes, where high school football gets more newsprint than the NFL.
How much more difficult is it to block for the run than for the pass?
I think it's a lot more difficult for the run.
It means everything to the town of Berwick. This is really what this town believes in, and if it weren't for Berwick football, I don't know what else Berwick would have.
It's a place where scrimmages take on the importance of championship games, a place where some fans haven't missed a practice in 27 years.
Log it in, John.
I'm logging it in my stat sheet. Put it in my files at home.
It's all we talk about. We live for it, some of us. Some of us count the days when the season ends till the next time we practice or whatever.
I've been associated with football here in Berwick since 1927. So as far as the mathematics is concerned, you figure out the years.
He's the 78-year-old general manager of the Bulldogs, known to everyone by one name, the Cat. To Cat, there's one reason Berwick has dominated Pennsylvania high school football for the last 3 decades.
Flex, flex, flex. Tight, Punchy, tight, Brandon.
Coach George Curry.
Cut, BJ, cut! Cut, get in there! They realize when you come out for the sport, and we tell them, football is a tough sport. And in some cases, it could become violent. I mean, you want to use that word, people shudder when you say that word, but here you get 22 guys, put pads on, and go out and hammer each other. I mean, it's an emotional game. Now, you ready to go now?
Let's go now.
Ready to go, John? Come on, let's show me what you got, buddy. I want to see it now. Here we go. I always tell my players the first meeting, I'm going to get everything out of you. I'm going to get everything you got, okay? And I'm going to do it my way.
Yeah, they're pretty good, I guess. You could say that. Ranked 5th in the nation.
Last year, the Bulldogs were named national champions by USA Today, an honor that earned them an audience with the president. And the pressure of trying for their first ever back-to-back state championships.
I am very nervous. I'm following in the footsteps of maybe the best quarterback I ever played a high school game, Ron Paus. And it's tough to try to do what he did because, you know, I'm not as big as he is, I'm not as strong as he is.
Number 11, senior Dan Pecorelli, nicknamed Dante by coach.
We moved down here when I was in 7th grade to play football because I was always decent at football, you know. So they thought, hey, we'll move down Berwick, you know, give the kid a shot at football. If he's any good, he'll get a good scholarship, you know, get a good education, you know, not worry about nothing. So we moved down here, and what do you know? I'm doing good. I'm a quarterback this year. I'm looking pretty good, you know. Looks like I'll be getting a scholarship maybe.
Receiving for the Bulldogs, number 8, Dan's best friend, junior Mike Bennett.
When we know if we're losing or we're down up by a touchdown, someone has to pull through, become the leader. I love that. I want to become the leader. I want to intercept the pass, or I want to make the touchdown that will forward us to the win.
Bennett's 6'5". He runs a 4.4 40. The kid can fly. He can catch. He can jump. And Pecorelli gets the ball to him, so we're in good shape.
I got drilled. No crap, so did I. I liked it too.
It's in my blood. I live it. I live it 12 months a year, every day of the year. I love being a football coach. You know, we have a good football team. Last year we were 15-0. Well, I want to do it again. Everything we do is together. You believe in each other. You push each other. You encourage each other. You don't ever let anybody get down. You understand? Because that's a trademark of Berwick football.
I don't know how he does it. He gets a couple hours of sleep at night, and then he's in church praying in the morning. It's one of the few times he actually gets a quiet moment, and then there the priest kind of hits him, hey coach, how's things going to be this weekend?
Our philosophy is God, family, and football.
But not necessarily in that order.
This is ABC News Nightline.
Left step, right shoulder on 3. Down. Go. Go. Go.
The first game of Berwick's season is only a few weeks away. The challenger, Glen Mills, a team with nearly twice as many players as the Bulldogs, a team which beat them by a point 2 years ago.
First group.
Drills are exacting. When one person makes a mistake, everyone pays.
Hold it. See, you're rocking. You see how you're rocking? You didn't listen to what I just got done telling those guys.
He is the master of teaching discipline. What these kids don't get in their own home from their parents, they get it from Coach Curry.
It's a discipline that stretches beyond the football field.
We're supposed to be in about 10 o'clock on weekdays, and I came home about 11:30. Hey, nobody called me. He didn't call my house. He knew I was out. So I had to run for that, you know, because if you're not in, you have to run. For every minute you're late, you have to run a 40.
I want to know everything about my players. I want to know, what kind of person he is. I want to know what kind of grades he has, what kind of football player he has. I want to know who he's hanging around with. I want to know the whole deal. That's just the way I am.
Some in Berwick remember a time when jobs were a bigger commodity than football. The town grew up around the American Car and Foundry Factory, AC&F. By 1944, more than 10,000 people were employed at the factory, the size of Berwick today. At the height of production, AC&F churned out 46 tanks a day. Town historian Bill Golder.
AC&F was Berwick. It made Berwick. It was said that during the Second World War that one of the targets that Hitler had was Berwick because of the war materials and things we were making.
It was a bombshell drop when they said they were moving out.
In 1962, Walt Wroblewski led a small band of townspeople who tried to buy the plant. They succeeded for a while, but the plant was eventually sold and is now in bankruptcy with only a handful of employees.
It's a beautiful place to work. Look at the grass growing on the roof, holes in the windows, smoke coming out, a little on the noisy side.
Just like the football team, we're still here and we got pride.
The only major employer left in Berwick today is the Wise Potato Chip Factory. Many work the night shift. The Bulldogs are their inspiration.
It's great a night before the game. I mean, by Thursday night, you're so tired from being on the shift and working the night shift that when they know there's a home game and we're gonna win, it just keeps them going all night long.
Early September.
Game 1.
On the road. A 2.5-hour drive to the first Friday night game. Hours later, hundreds of Berwick fans followed. The mood, expectant, resolute.
We're moments away from the kickoff to start this 1993 high school football season. Mike Fedorko.
For all their first game jitters, Berwick is about to turn their season opener, with a little help from Glenn Mills, into a rout.
Slot to the left side from the shotgun formation. Pecorelli back to throw, fires for the end zone, touchdown! The snap from Parker is there, the kick is up, and the kick is good. Berwick, double tight end to Wyman. Give is to Hayes, tries the right side, runs over a tackler into the end zone off the right side for a Berwick touchdown. At the line of scrimmage, the ball game comes to an end. The final score, Berwick 28 and Glen Mills 12.
Bring it in, hit a knee, man.
What might seem a big victory to the fans is, to Coach Curry, something less.
You're going to suck it up. Some of you guys who didn't have games that you wanted, you just reach down and say, wait a minute. Look in the mirror and say to yourself, I just got to go a little bit harder now. In practice, I got to get myself together. You played a good game. You put a licking on them. We made mistakes. It was the first game jitters. It's a lot of rookies out there, but you just grew up tonight.
For Mike Bennett, reminders of his mistakes weren't needed. They were still very fresh in his mind.
Hey, Bill, how you doing? Dropping those passes out there. And he was really upset. I told him, Mike, don't worry about it. You got next week, 13 more games, hopefully. You'll make more good plays than you will bad plays before this year's over. I go, just don't worry about it. Keep your head up. You're a great player. Just, keep working hard.
And next week's game is at home. The Wise Potato Chip Factory, 3 a.m., the morning before the first home game.
I usually get my face ready, and it's just like an added incentive. And the kids, I do, then the kids want to do it, have ball on their cheeks.
Everywhere we go, people want to know,
Many will lose sleep to be there.
we are the Bulldogs, mighty Bulldogs.
Maybe we'll all do this. We'll all go
By
out.
midday, Coach Curry will spend a rare moment with his wife and daughter. They'll both be at the game tonight, of course.
A lot of people don't even know who I am. They'll say, oh, I didn't know George had a wife,
1, 2, ready, and.
For the players, part of the football mystique is acting nonchalant, as if all this has very little to do with you. As if you wouldn't notice the 8,000 fans who begin to fill the stadium hours before the game.
Why are you running?
You got a good seat.
Hurry up, Dad.
Or all matter and means of Bulldog paraphernalia.
What's this thing?
Oh, that's our Bulldog. Got him 2 years ago. We have him all the time.
But they do notice, of course. It's all part of a home game. And home is where the families are, where ties are bound through football. Mike Bennett's father, also a good athlete, never graduated from high school.
I wish I had somebody around that would have kept my head on straight, because I'm just the type of guy that I could do whatever I put my mind to do, and I blew it. And I'm just going to make sure that, my kid doesn't do the same thing that I did.
When we see he's replacing the #1 athlete in America from the previous year, when we see him out there trying to fill that kid's shoes who was outstanding, and we see him actually doing the job, it's a heck of a feeling. It feels as though, hell, you invested in this kid all this time, and it's paying off.
Tonight's matchup, Bishop McNamara, a team that vastly outweighs Berwick. But Berwick has the weight of tradition on its side. Consider, for example, the field house issue.
This is tradition to come out of this field house. We came out of the new field house, and the first time we did that, we lost by a field goal at the end. So next week, our equipment manager, Catman, he made a suggestion. We broke tradition. We got to run out of the original field house, and since then we've had a perfect home record.
And Berwick has the benefit of ritual. And Berwick has all those fans. Could the outcome of the game be much in question?
Pecorelli fakes handoff, keeps the football, rolls right, touching in the middle of the 10, the 5, and he's in for a touchdown.
Maybe if he just started coaching maybe 10 years ago and I knew a different way of life, it could have been different, but this is the only life I know. You know, that he's coaching and he's with the kids and he's weightlifting and that's his life. So I just go with the flow, you know, you just stay with them.
Bennett! Bennett! And Jones is back to throw and he fires in the end zone. The ball is picked off by Mike Bennett.
For Mike Bennett, this will be a much different game than the last.
It's great watching him out there. That's a part of you out there. So, you know, anything he does out there, it's a part of, like me and my wife, that's a part of us out there.
And Pecorelli from the shotgun. Quarterback draw up the middle. He's at the 10, touches to the 5, and Pecorelli's in for Berwick touchdown.
Bulldogs can take control and roll right over.
Up the middle is Pecorelli. He's at the 10, he's at the 5, he's inside the 5, and he's into the end zone. Dante Pecorelli one more time.
It feels as though, hell, you invested in this kid all this time, and it's paying off.
Three of them, 3 touchdowns.
Well, what else is there in life? You know what I mean? You're an average person living in an average town, and you almost have to be a part of something to make something out of life. You just can't sit home and turn on the TV.
The end of the ball game, the final score, Berwick 28 at Bishop McNamara 6.
Close that door, Jim. I don't want anybody else in here now. Now listen, you beat a great football team. You sucked it up. You showed me character. This is Berwick football, man. Now, let's not forget our Savior. He gave you the pep, the strength. He's with us. All right, now, who that?
Who that? Who that say don't beat them dogs? Who that? Who that? Who that say don't beat them dogs?
That's tough.
Oh, I got some right there. That's what it's all about, baby.
That's tough. Hey, Coach Settle.
For Mike Bennett, the magic is back. He can afford the luxury of dreaming.
Right as soon as we won a state championship, I wanted another one. And after that, I won another one my senior year. We're very confident we can win them all.
For senior Dan Pecorelli,
my favorite part of the game is when it's over. Because, you know, as a quarterback, you take a lot of hits and a lot of shots, you know. So my favorite part of the game as a quarterback is when it's over. Because, you know, you can go to locker and just sit down. You know, you're on your feet all night, you just go sit down. You're not getting hit anymore.
I told my players this. You should never have problems with any adversity that faces you because you're facing them in our program. Okay, we're putting you through some tough situations and you're handling it. So you are mentally preparing yourself for a life playing in this program.
I'm gonna miss high school, and it's the best years of your life, they say. Well, I would rather stay here and play for Berwick the rest of my life, if I could.
when we come back, I'll tell you about tonight's game and about what may be the heartbreaking end to a high school football career for Dante. This was not an easy night for the Berwick Bulldogs. They won, beating the Tunkhannock Tigers by a touchdown, 19-12, but at a price. Quarterback Dante Pecorelli, who would rather have played for Berwick the rest of his life, may have played his last high school football game. He suffered a broken collarbone tonight just minutes before the half. They carried Dante off the field. One more round of applause. It'll undoubtedly be the #1 topic of conversation tomorrow morning. That and the fact that the Bulldogs are now 9-0 and facing the remainder of the season and possibly the playoffs with a second-string quarterback.
That's our report for tonight. I'm Ted Koppel in Berwick, Pennsylvania. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
If you wish a videocassette version of Nightline, the cost is $14.98 plus $3.95 shipping and handling. If you wish a printed transcript, please send $5 to 1535 Grant Street, Denver, Colorado 80203.
Nightline is a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.